Hello, welcome to Meet the Author. And here we have with us Gina Alder. And she's going to tell us about her book called Cam Jansen and the Triceratops Mystery. So Gina, what inspired you to write this book?
Well, it was about my life, but it changed a little.
Okay, tell us a little summary about this story.
It's about this boy named Eric and this girl named Ken, and they're trying to find this Triceratops Pops CD. It's the new CD, and everyone wants to buy it. So they go to the store and they ask the man, and he said where he puts them. They go look, and there's no more. So they thought that somebody stole them, and since they have this beep in the store, if you go out with something stolen, there's this magnetic strip on it and anything, and the beeper will beep, and then they'll not think that you stole something. So they'll check in your bags, and then they looked, and this guy had a watermelon and some other stuff in his bag, and they didn't think it was him. And then there was two other people, they didn't think it was him. So then Kim thought that it was the guy with the watermelon because it was dripping, and she thought he put a hole in the watermelon and stuck the CD. So they started chasing him, and he knew that they were chasing him. So he kept running, and then he tripped, and it fell. The watermelon broke open, and they found the CDs.
Okay. How did you know? Where did the characters come from?
I made them up.
What? Was it easy to write the story?
Yeah, because I already knew what I was going to write, because it happened to me, so I just changed it.
Have you written any other books?
Yeah, I've written a series of Cam Jansen.
When did you become interested in writing books?
Well, I always liked to read, and I like to write. So when I was like 7 years old, I started writing my own books, but they weren't being published.
What was your favorite book when you were in 3rd grade?
I don't really remember.
How long did it take you to write this story?
It took me about a month.
Okay. What is your favorite subject to write about?
I like to write about people.
How long did you make them up yourself, the characters?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for having us on the show, Gina, and see you next time on Meet the Author. Bye.
Hi, welcome to Meet the Author. We have here Andrew Ramback and Andrew Ramback will tell us about his story. Tell us, Andrew, what was the main character?
Well, the main character was Brett Favre that played on the Green Bay Packers.
What was your first story?
Well, the first story that I wrote was Dinosaur Adventures in 1st grade.
What was the setting
Of what?
of your first book?
Usually everywhere.
Tell us about your new book that you wrote.
Well, see, it was about Brett Favre, how he helped his team
help his team to win the Super Bowl 31, and it tells like what the ending score was, 35-21, and it tells how what teams they play and how good they played, and that he had surgery on his ankle in the summer.
What was your favorite storyline
Of what?
of the basketball? Of the football.
Okay. Well, it was. Well, I thought of the storyline because Super Bowl 31 was an exciting game because Brett Favre played so well.
Did you make up yourself?
Did I make the story up myself?
Yes.
Well, no, because I watched TV and I had to interview.
Was it easy writing the story?
Yes, because he made himself very available to interview.
Where did the characters come from?
Well, the characters came from TV because I watch football on Sunday, the Green Bay Packers.
Have you written other books?
Well, not as an adult, but when I was young.
What was your that's all the time that we have. Welcome to see you again. Meet you at the show at the end. Bye.
Hi, I'm Jessica Seeger, and this is the Meet the Author show, and we have a guest with us today, Megan Bernstein. She writes Bernstein Daily books. So Megan, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I have 2 kids, 1 girl and 1 boy. We live out in Chicago, the city, and we live in our apartment building, and I wrote a lot of books about the bears, and I get, when I'm done like drawing the pictures and writing them, I go, while my kids are in school, I go get them published by the publisher.
When did you become interested in writing stories?
When I was a little girl.
Did you write any from your childhood?
Yeah, I did. Because when I went camping when I was 4 years old with my mom and dad and my sisters, at night I wandered off and I saw this bear, and I climbed the tree because I was scared of bears, and after a while I got used to the bear, and the mama bear took me to see the cubs and the papa bear, and then I just decided when I was a little older, because my mom and dad showed me the pictures, I was interested in writing about bears and wildlife creatures.
Which book did you like the best that you read?
I like the one when the Benson did into much fighting, because me and my sisters and my children always fight.
did it take you long to write the book that you just wrote?
It took me a day to think about what I was gonna write, but it takes a week for me to write it and another week for me to draw the pictures.
Did your children give you any ideas of writing the story?
Yeah, because when I wrote the Bernstein Bears and Too Much Fighting, because there was a brother bear and a sister bear, and I have a girl and a boy, and they fight a lot, about stuff, who's using the TV.
When you wrote your book, did you make a lot of mess ups or just a couple?
Sometimes I make a lot, and sometimes I only make a few.
What did you Megan, would you like to tell us a little bit about your book, Bernstein Bears and Too Much Teasing?
It's one day when brother started to tease sister bear, and sister bear didn't like to get teased, so she told her mother bear, and mother bear talked to brother first, then she talked to sister bear about teasing, and one day, the next day, the principal wanted to see brother bear to tell him, ask him if he wanted to be his messenger to give the notes to the teacher. He needed the notes, and every day he would go to the office, the principal's office, and everybody started to tease him, to tell him his gang teased him a lot. And one day, this new kid, Milton, that lived in Farmer Ben's farm, because his mom and dad worked for him, and they started to tease him at sports he wasn't good at. So one day, brother stood up too tall, and Milton and him became friends, and Milton brother bear lived down the street from Milton because Milton lived on Farmer Ben's farm, and brother and sister bear went to Milton's house after school, and he was good at farming, and he was good at getting the milk out of the cow, and he could do it. He can get the milk right out of the cow and into the cat's mouth. And he was good at wrestling because he jumped on this pig that got out of the pig pen. And so brother bear the next day gave the note to the wrestling teacher, a gym teacher. And so Milton joined the wrestling team, and he got too tall and his gang down, and they went to the wrestling legends, and Milton did a good job in the wrestling legends.
This is all the time we have for today. This is Meet the Author saying bye.
Okay, welcome to Meet the Author. Here we have Katie Lori, and she's going to tell us about her book, Number the Stars. So Katie, what inspired you to write this book?
Well, I read a book before, and it was sort of like it, and I really liked the book, so I thought that maybe if I just changed the story a little bit, I could write another.
Okay, tell us a little about your story.
It's about this girl, Anne Mary, and she has a friend, Ellen, and her friend is Jewish, and this is in 1647, and they have soldiers on every block, and one day they had to take all the Jewish people away to somewhere else, and they didn't want Ellen to go, so they just took her parents. So she went over to Anne Mary's house, and then one of the soldiers came in to check if there were any Jewishes, and Ellen had a necklace on that meant Jewish, so they had to like tear it off of her neck. And then, they left, and Mary kept the Jewish sign, her necklace, in a box that her grandpa gave her, that her dad gave her when she was littler, until her parents came back and the Jewish wouldn't have to go anywhere until it was okay.
How do you think of the storyline for Number the Stars?
Well, I don't know.
Okay. Was it easy writing this story?
Yeah.
How long did it take you?
It took me about maybe a week to get all the pictures done.
What's your favorite subject to write?
Probably history.
When did you become interested in writing stories?
When I was about 10 years old.
Where did the characters come from in Number the Stars?
I just made them up.
How do you come up with the names if you just put them up?
I just
Doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I just wanted some kind of name. That was the first name came up in my mind.
Okay. Well, thanks for being on our show, Katie. Thanks for being on Meet the Author. Bye.
Hi, welcome to Meet the Author. I'm Ayana Wade, and this is Melanie Griff, and she's going to tell us about her story, Best Friends. Who are the main characters?
Stacy, Arrow, Annie, and Emily Arrow.
Okay. Was it easy writing the story?
Yes.
When does the story take place?
Well, it takes place in when you're in school and like in 2nd grade.
Okay. Have you written any other books?
Yes, I've written a series.
Okay. What was the first book you wrote?
Well, I can't really remember.
How long did it take you to write your story?
Like a month.
How did you get the idea?
From my life and other places, schools.
Okay. Could you tell us about your story?
Well, it's about this one girl, and her name is Stacy, and she's in school, and they're drawing, and this one person says, "Are you drawing your cat?" And she said no. She said yeah, so, but she lied because she never really had a cat. So when the person asked what his name was, and she lied again. So she said his name is John. So their teachers, it was time to have snacks. So their teacher said to go get your snacks. So she got her snack, but she didn't like it. So her teacher was going to open up the door, and so open up the window. So she said, "Could I feed the birds my snack since I don't like it?" And she said, "Are you sure?" And she said, "Yeah." So she fed the birds her snack, and her teacher had a good idea. So she said, "Okay, everybody, line up." So they did, and they went to the pet store, and they got bird food, and they came back, and it was time to leave, so they would do it the next day. So she at dinner, her sister Emily said she had a spelling bee and she hated spelling bees. So she said, so Stacy said, "I know how to spell," but she really didn't. So the next day, Stacy felt really sorry for Emily because she was like spelling on the way to school and stuff because she wanted to win the spelling bee. So Stacy got in the class early, and this new girl came in, and her name was Amy, and she didn't look like she didn't really listen to Stacy that much, because if there were like rules that in the classroom, everybody kept on telling her not to do them, and she wouldn't listen. So in school she started whistling. So her Stacy said you're not allowed to whistle, but she wouldn't listen. So everybody else kept telling her. So then later, her teacher said, "Let's go out and feed the birds now," and so they did. And outside, there was this one girl, and she was gonna walk with Stacy going outside, but she was mad that Stacy was walking with the new girl, so they went outside, and they went outside and they fed the birds. So the birds came, and so she said she was whistling, so everybody told her to stop, otherwise she would make the birds. So everybody told her not to whistle, otherwise she would scare off the birds. So she didn't listen, so she did scare off the birds. But Stacy told June that she couldn't walk with her. So they went back inside, but June said, so they were still friends.
Okay. Good luck selling your
book, and thank you for being on our show.
Hi, welcome to Meet the Author. I'm Kim and I'm here with Dan Brown. So Dan, what inspired you to write this book?
I don't really know.
Dan just wrote a book called Arthur Meets the President. So, Dan, what inspired you to write this book?
I went on a trip to with my mom and dad, and I saw the president, and so when I went to see the president, I thought I should make a book of a kid meeting a president, and so I made a book of Arthur, and with this class they were making a vote, and Arthur wrote the kids had to write something to help make the world better, and Arthur won, and his whole class got to go to Washington D.C. and see the president. And they got to stay in a hotel. Then his dad, actually he was in the bathroom, he had an essay saying he had to read it. So he was on the stool or something, and then he was reading it to himself. And his dad said, "Shouldn't you make it on flashcards or something?" And he made on flashcards, and then a helicopter came, and then he took his cards out. They flew everywhere, and then DW, she had plans that she was in a tree, and then she had this big piece of paper, and then it said what it had on the cards.
How long did it take you to write this book?
About a week.
Who are the main characters?
The president and Arthur.
Did anyone give you the idea to write this, or you just thought of it?
I thought of it.
Have you written other books? That's all we have today. Thank you for being on the show.
Hi, I'm Magdalena Rodriguez. Welcome to Meet the Author. On our show today we have Amit Saltman. Amit's going to tell us about his new book. So Amit, what inspired you to write this book?
Well, my father was a famous person, so I thought I could be just like my dad.
What is your book title?
The Jester Has Lost His Jingle.
How long did it take you to write this book?
About 2 weeks.
Was it easy writing this story?
No. Yes!
What is the first book you wrote?
I can't remember all these years.
What is your favorite subject to write about?
Dogs.
When did you become interested in writing stories?
When I was about 5 or 10 years old.
What was your favorite book when you were in 3rd grade?
Helen Keller.
How'd you get the idea?
When I came into this classroom, I told a joke. No one left about this kid. His name was a jester, so I came up a story. So I wrote this story, new book.
Have you written any other books?
Yeah, but I can't remember.
Where did the characters come from?
I made them up.
Did you make them, are they based on people you know?
No.
How did you come up with their names?
What's the question again?
How'd you come up with their names?
They just came in my mind and just made up.
Tell us about your story.
Well, this is about this jester that always laughed and the other jesters were gone because they weren't so good at all. But one day when the jester went into the castle of the kings and queen, he did all his funny walk, funny talk, funny dance, and funny talk show. That's all. And when the king saw that he wasn't so great about that because he wasn't that funny like he was like before, so the king said, "You must be disappeared because you have lost your jingles."
What are the main characters?
The jester, the queen, and the king.
Well, thank you for coming on our show, Amit. Tune in next time. I'm dead.
Hello, folks. This is Meet the Author. I am Andrew Sutcliffe, and this is Brandy Ryland. And Brandy, what inspired you to write this book?
My kid and his dog that I bought on his first birthday.
What's the title of your book?
Henry and Mudge.
Okay. Was it easy to write this story?
Yes.
Who are the characters?
Henry, Mudge, and their grandma, mother, and father.
How did you get the idea?
Well, whenever we go to their grandma's, my son always wants to sleep outside in the with the dog because there's not a lot of room in there. So we decided to let him sleep outside and see how it feels with Mudge.
Okay. Have you written any other books?
Yes.
What was your favorite book when you were in 3rd grade?
Arthur.
Okay. What is your favorite subject to write about?
Dogs, cats, people.
Okay. What was the first book that you ever wrote?
Henry and Mudge meets. Wait. Henry's First Christmas.
Okay. When does the story take place?
When Henry goes to his grandma's.
What is the main idea of the story?
Henry gets to sleep outside with Mudge.
Okay. What is the setting? Okay. What is the setting of this story?
When Henry is in the car with Mudge in the back seat.
Okay. What's the story about?
It's about when Henry and Mudge are in the back seat of the car and they're going to the country to meet their grandma, and Mudge is too big for the house and he has to sleep outside, but Henry gets worried about Mudge, so he wants to sleep outside too, so he goes outside and sleeps underneath the table with Mudge.
Okay. Did you make the characters up yourself?
Yes.
Okay. How did you come up with the names?
My son gave me some good ideas to write up about it.
Okay. Are the characters based on people you know?
Yes.
Where did the characters come from?
My son and his dog.
Okay. How did you think of the storyline?
My son gave me some good ideas to write about.
Okay. Well, that's it on Meet the Author. Join in next time.
Hi, welcome to Meet the Author, and here we have Josh Alders, and he wrote a book, Cam Jansen and the Mystery of the Circus Clown. Okay, Josh, what inspired you to write this book?
Well, I always loved to go to circuses, and so that's how I got the idea.
Okay. How long did it take you to write this book?
It took me about 1 week.
Okay. When did you become interested into the writing books?
When I was in 3rd grade,
Okay. How did you get the idea?
I got the idea of when I was a little kid, I always went to circuses with my aunt. So and I always loved the fat little clowns. And so that's how I got the idea.
Tell us about your story.
Well, it's about this story. This girl that she has a friend, and her aunt takes her to the circus, and her aunt goes to buy some tickets, and this clown bumps into her and steals her wallet. And when she comes back to her seat, she just noticed that her wallet was gone. And then when when they wanted some ice cream, they had to pay for it, so they went into line. And when they were in line, all these women who were in front of them were all saying, "Where's my wallet? Where's my wallet?" And then they started to look for the clown, and they found him on the way to the car, and then they bring the two back into the office, and they emptied out these shopping bags, and all these wallets came out.
What was your favorite book when you were in 3rd grade?
My favorite book was Arthur Writes a Story.
Okay, goodbye, and thank you for watching Meet the Author.
I'm Keely Nate, and welcome to the Meet the Author show. Now, our guest here today is Jessica Yakovach. So, Jessica, she just wrote a book called Dog for a Day. So, Jessica, can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Well, it's about this boy named Sydney, and he's like a genius, and he created a machine to change like let's say like a cat into a bird, and he went to school one day and he made a machine. He brought it home, and he turned his baby sister into a lamp. And his mom got mad, and she got turned back into a girl. And he thought one day he wanted to change himself into something different, so he changed himself into a dog. And he put himself in the machine with his dog, and he pressed a button. He came out as a dog. He wanted to take a nap, so he slept on the dog's pillow. And he got hungry, so he had to eat the dog's food. And one day he had to go to school, and he was a dog, so they wouldn't let him on the bus, and they slammed the door in his face. So he decided he'd walk to school. So when he went to school, he went in his classroom, and his teacher kicked him out because he was a dog. And he's like, "I'm Sydney, honest. And she's like, "I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to kick you out." And he waited until school was over for his friends, because after school they always played baseball. And his friends came out, and he said, "Do you want to play baseball?" He's like, his friends are like, "No, because you're a dog and dogs have fleas. I don't want to play with people that have fleas." He decided to go for ice cream. When he went for the ice cream, he had to eat out of a dog dish, and he said, "I don't really like being a dog. This isn't really a very good life." So he went home. He turned himself back into human being, and he turned the dog into the dog again. And he decided, why change things into different things when they're already themselves and they're good enough? So he threw the machine out, and he went to bed.
Okay, sounds good. So, did you like writing the story, or?
Yeah. It was weird at first, but then I got used to it, and I wrote it.
Cool. And so, did you just make the characters up yourself, or did you,
Well, since there were pets in the story, I have the same pets, just I have more, and I got the ideas from those pets.
Okay, so, from the names of the dogs, the dog, the characters in it, so did you, get their names from your pets' names, or?
None of them.
So, Jessica, what made you want to write the book?
Well, since I have so many pets, I decided to write a book about all these pets, and they transform into different things. It's kind of cool though. If my pets did that, that'd be kind of weird. But
yeah,
yeah.
So was it easy to write the story?
Actually, I'd say it was a little bit, but it was sort of confusing.
Yeah. So, what's the main idea?
The main idea is that there's this boy, and he wants things to turn into different things. Since he made a machine, he wants to use it, but he figures, why change things into other things? So he just throws it out.
How long did it take you to write this story?
I'd say about a month.
Did you what made did you just name them, just any name you could think of, or just?
Well, sort of, yeah. And I thought of a whole bunch of names for them, so I was confused, because it was should I name the dog this and the person this, or should I name the dog this and the person this? So it was weird.
Yeah. So did you
So did you have like fun writing the story? Cause was it like?
Yeah, it was fun.
So what is it like the setting?
Okay, it mostly takes like place in like the house because he mostly does all the things in the house.
So like I didn't really know this. Like where did he keep the machine?
Well, he kept it in his living room. I don't know why. He should have brought it upstairs into his bedroom.
So like what like did you want to like write this story because you thought you were going to have fun, or did you just want to write the story like because you had the pets? Or
Well, I wanted when I wrote the story, I wanted to have fun with it. I wanted to like make it funny and stuff. So it like if my pets transformed into like dogs and stuff and different animals, it'd be kind of weird, but I like it.
yeah, so that's all we have for today. So see you next time. Hi, welcome to Meet the Author, and here we have Kim Schweid. And what inspired you to write this book?
Well, when I was like a little girl, I always wanted to see Santa, so I wrote a book about this mouse who wanted to see Santa.
Tell us a little about the story.
Well, it was about this a mouse who wanted to see Santa that year. So every animal who came by, he asked if Santa was here. But then one day, the owl came and told him that Santa was here. So he went and then when he saw him, he was happy because he saw him for his first time. And then Santa gave him a cup of food and he gave food to all the other animals.
How long did it take you to write the story?
About 2 weeks.
Was it easy to write this story?
Well, a little because I already knew what I was going to write it about.
When did you become interested in writing the story?
When I was 10 years old.
What was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
Well, I don't remember.
Have you written other books?
Yeah, a lot.
How did you think of a storyline?
Well, first of all, I thought of how it happened to me, and then I made the story up.
Where did the characters come from?
Mostly from my brother. He told me his favorite animals.
Where did the story take place?
In the forest.
Did you make them up yourself?
Yeah, but my brother helped me a little.
What is the setting?
Well, it's it took place in the forest in the olden days.
Are they based on people you know?
No.
How did you come up with the names?
Well, my brother helped me on them, but in this book I wrote, I didn't have any names for them.
Who are the characters?
The main characters are Santa Claus and the Dormouse.
What is the main idea of this story?
Well, it's about this mouse who wanted to see Santa Claus that year.
That's all the time we have on Meet the Author, and see ya. Welcome to Meet the Author. Today we have Cody Edmonds. Cody, what inspired you to make this book?
I wanted to teach people not to steal.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your book?
My book was Uka and the Honest Thief, and it was about this one guy who owns a rice store. Noticed that every night some of his rice kept disappearing, so he went to tell Uka, this one judge, and the judge decided to stand guard to see who this one thief was. And when the thief came, he only wanted like a couple handfuls to feed his family because the thief didn't have any job. So Uka let the thief go away because he thought he was an honest thief, not taking more than he needed. And in the morning, Uka gave the one thief a job. And every night the thief came back to pay back what he owed to the rice store.
Okay. Who are the main characters?
Probably Uka and the thief.
Okay. Where did the characters come from?
I just thought of them one day.
Did you make them up yourself?
Yeah.
Are they based on people you know?
No, not many.
How long did it take you to write this story?
A couple days.
Okay. How did you get the idea?
Well, I was watching the news late one night, and there was stuff about how much stealing was going on, and I didn't want kids to grow up to be thieves, so I just made a story to try to help kids not steal.
Okay, what was your favorite book when you were in 3rd grade?
Probably the series of animals.
Have you written other books?
Yeah.
What's your favorite subject to write about?
Well, not right now. I'm into a lot of action.
Okay, thank you for being on Meet the Author, and bye.
Hi, I'm Gina Toronto, and welcome to Meet the Author. Today we have Lisette Brown, and she wrote a book called Arthur Writes a Story. So, Lisette, tell us a little bit about your book.
Well, it's about Arthur writing a story, and he writes a story and he shows it to Buster, and Buster really doesn't like it, so he said it would be much better if you write about space. And he wrote about what Buster said, and then he showed it to DW, and DW really said that it was bad. So she said it would be much better if you did it with elephants. So he did a story with elephants in space, and then he showed his grandma, and his grandma said that it'd be much better if he wrote it about cowboys dancing, and he did it about cowboys dancing in space, and then he told his mom, and his mom really didn't care. He went to bed, and then he went to school with it, and the teacher really didn't like it, so he said he'll have one more night with that assignment. So he just wrote a story, and he didn't tell anybody else, so they won't tell him to change his story.
Sounds good. How long did it take you to write this story?
About a week.
How did you get the idea to write Arthur Writes a Story?
Well, I was outside, and I saw this weird animal, so I thought that I would probably write about that.
How long did it take? Was it easy writing this story?
Yeah.
Have you written other books?
Yeah, I've written like a whole collection of them.
When did you become interested in writing stories?
When I was like in 3rd grade.
What was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
Amelia Bedelia.
What is your favorite subject to write about?
Animals and people around me.
Okay, that's all the time we have for Meet the Author, and thank you, Seth, for coming. Tune in next time on Meet the Author.
Hi, I'm Andrew Sutcliffe. This is Meet the Author. This is Adam Brown, and he's going to tell us about his new book. Adam, what inspired you to write this book?
Like my friends, and it's sort of about baseball, and I really like baseball and stuff like that.
Okay. What's your title?
Arthur and the True Francine.
What's the main idea of the story?
There was this test, and Muffy and Francine became best friends, and then then before the test, Francine was studying really hard, and Muffy was calling people on the phone, and she said to one person that I forgot what she said for one person, but then she copied off of Francine on the test, and they both got Fs. And Muffy said, I won't ever cheat." And then, but she really did cheat off of Francine, so Francine got detention for a week, and she was gonna miss the big game. And then Muffy came back at the big game in the middle that were losing by 2 runs, and Muffy told the truth, and then Muffy was cleaning the boards and stuff, and Francine got the play, and then she hit 2 home runs to tie up the game, and then I think they won.
Okay. How long did it take you to write this story?
A year.
Okay. What was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
Paul 13.
How did you get the characters?
From my friends, and as I told you before, I like baseball. That's where I got the baseball idea.
Okay. That's all the time that we have for Meet the Author. See you next time.
Hi, I'm Dan Mahalik, and this is Maggie Grimm. Tell me, Maggie, what inspired you to write this book?
Everybody who's poor wants to always be greater and braver and more cunning. So I wrote a book about a person who got his wish.
Okay, how did you get the idea to write the book?
Well, from my brother, he'd always think that he was the bravest when he swat down about 10 flies.
How long did it take you to write the book?
5 to 10 days.
Was it easy writing the story?
No, because you have to think of a setting, and then you have to think of how you're gonna put the story in a certain way.
Okay. Have you written any other books?
Yes, I have.
Okay, Maggie. Tell us about your story.
Well, my story's called The Brave Little Tailor, and it's about a little tailor who swat 7 flies in one blow with a rag, and he thought he was pretty brave, so he made himself a band saying 7 in 1 blow. And so he thought that he was pretty brave, so he wanted to show everybody. So he went out into the town, and he saw a bird stuck in a bush, and since he was so light, he never got tired climbing it, and he freed the bird and put him in his pocket. And he climbed to a high cliff where he saw a giant sitting down, and he asked the giant if he'd like to join him. And the giant just called him a pipsqueak and thought he wasn't really brave at all. And when he showed him his band, he thought better of him. And so the giant put him to a test. So he had to do all sorts of things for the giant to know he was truly a brave man. And when he did all of those things, but he also tricked the giant into doing the work for himself, for him instead. And so the giant actually believed that he was doing some of the work also. And so he allowed the tailor to come into his cave with all the other giants. And when that happened, the bed was too big. The bed they put him in was too big, so he climbed out of the cave and he went on, and until he saw a palace that a king lived in. And the king saw his band and thought what a great war hero he might be. And so he asked them to take over an army of his best knights. And so he did, and the knights were very jealous of him, so they told the king. And the king didn't want to get rid of him because he thought that he might come back and kill them and take over the palace. And so he asked the tailor to perform a task that if he had done it, he would give the tailor his daughter, and half the kingdom would be his. And so he went and performed the task the king had sent him. But the king refused to give him his daughter and half the kingdom, so he sent him on another task to get this wild boar, and sent him with 1,000 knights. And so he told the knights to stay, and he went. He trapped the warthog in a house, in a small house, and came back and told the king that he had performed the task, but the king still refused to. And so he sent him on the last task, which he had to capture a unicorn that had been causing much damage. So he went, took an axe and a rope, and tricked the unicorn into coming after him. And a tree was behind him. He jumped out, and the unicorn was stuck. And he went back to the king, told him the task was done, and the king did give him the daughter and half the kingdom. And the daughter didn't want to be his wife, so she told the king, her father. And her father said, "Leave the door unlocked, and my servants will do away with them." And so she did as they told. She did as he told her, but the little tailor was clever enough to find out their plan, and managed to trick them into thinking that he would kill them. And so they ran away. And from there he became king. He became a king and married and had half the kingdom for himself. And he lived happily.
Well, thank you for being on Meet the Author. This is all the time we have for today. Bye.
Hello, my name is Megan Cox, and this is Meet the Author. And the guest is Tim Brown. He wrote the book, Author's April Fools. Can you tell us a little about the book?
It's about Buster and Arthur. They were trying on masks for April Fools, and when they had this magic show at school, they were practicing in this tough guy, and when they were practicing, Binky Barnes kept on teasing Arthur, and when the real assembly with the tricks, Binky Barnes made Arthur feel bad, and when that was over, then when they were putting stuff back into their locker, he tricked Binky Barnes by having this microscope, and he said you have to have the magic words to see something, and all of a sudden when he went home, he played a trick and said April Fools.
Okay, how did you get the idea for the story?
Well, I got tricked on April Fools, and I just wanted, since I had a whole series of Arthur, I just wanted to write one about.
Okay, what was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
About animals.
Who are the characters?
Binky Barnes, Buster, and Arthur.
Okay, where did the story take place?
In school.
Okay, did you write any other books?
Yes.
Can you name some of the titles if you remember?
Arthur writes a story, and that's all I can name. I forgot all of the others.
What was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
About animals.
Did you get any of the ideas from your children?
No.
That's all the time we have on Meet the Author. Thank you for coming.
Welcome to Meet the Author. Here is Janice Comfort. She wrote a book called Get the Picture, Jenny Archer. How did you get the idea?
Well, one day I was bored and I felt like writing something, so I decided to write about something that happened to me in the past.
Tell us about the story.
Well, the story is about a girl named Jenny Archer who gets a new camera as a gift from her grandparents. And she doesn't really like taking pictures, but when she reads in this magazine that there's a photo contest, she starts to take pictures so she could win the contest. But she starts taking pictures so much, she got into trouble.
How long did it take you to write the story?
1 month.
Where did the characters come from?
Well, I just kind of made them up.
How did you come up with the characters' names?
I named some of them after my friends, but the rest I just kind of made up.
Was it easy to write the story?
Yeah, it was easy.
Have you written any other books?
Yeah, I have.
What was your favorite book in first grade? In first grade?
My favorite book in first grade, it was Arthur Writes a Story.
What is the first book you wrote?
The first book I wrote was Nibble Nibble, Jenny Archer.
When did you become interested in writing stories?
In fourth grade.
What is your favorite subject to write about?
People.
What was your favorite book in third grade?
My favorite book in third grade was Invisible in the third grade.
Well, that's all the time we have for today on Meet the Author.
Hello to Meet the Author, and today we have Keely. Today with us we have Keely Dickens, and I'm Melanie Allred, and she just wrote a book called Oliver Twist. So Keely, can you tell us a little bit about your story?
Okay, it's about this orphan, Oliver Twist, and he had to do dangerous things to survive. And when he was little, he had to live and work in this working house, place called a working house. And then he didn't like it there, so he ran away to London, and he met this kid about his age named Jack. And Oliver didn't know that Jack was a thief, so one day Oliver and Jack went out one day for a walk, and then Jack stole somebody's wallet, and then the guy that got robbed thought that Oliver was the thief. So then Oliver had to go to court, and since it wasn't Oliver, it was Jack. Then the guy felt bad, so he let Oliver live with him for a while. And then Oliver was returning books one day, and then he got kidnapped by Jack's gang. And the head of the gang was this old guy named Fagin, and his partner was this guy named Bill. And Bill's girlfriend was Nancy, this nice lady named Nancy, and Nancy wanted to save Oliver from getting killed and getting hurt. So, and Nancy got murdered and beaten from Bill because Nancy wanted to help Oliver. So, and then since everybody in town heard about the murder, so they were all looking for the gang, and so all of the gang died in prison, and that day on, Oliver had lived a happy life.
Okay, what inspired you to write this book?
Well, probably from when I was a kid, because when I was a kid, I had a hard life just like Oliver, so I wanted to write about it.
What was your favorite book in third grade?
I don't really remember.
Have you written any other books?
Yeah, I wrote Great Expectations, David Copperfield, and The Tale of Two Cities.
What was your first book?
That I wrote? Probably in first grade. I loved history so much that I wrote about, and we were learning so much about pilgrims or something. So I think I wrote about pilgrims.
Okay. What is the main idea?
The main idea is, like, for everybody who reads it, to tell them that for poor people, for kids that are poor, it's like, and for everybody who's poor, life is hard for them, and you should help them.
What is the setting?
The setting is probably in like the 1830s, around there.
Okay. Well, thanks for being on Meet the Author, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, welcome to Meet the Author, and today we are with Ayanna Wade, and her book is How Crayons Were Made in China. Now tell me, what inspired you to write this book?
I don't know.
Okay, well, tell us about your book.
Well, there's this princess, and she has to invent something to get out of the castle wall, and the emperor asks her to invent something, and she invents these things called crayons, and she used candles, and she made these papers and put them around the crayons, and she gave them to the emperor, but the emperor didn't know she gave them to her because the mice did.
Okay, interesting. Now, what's the first book you wrote?
Me, Myself, and I.
Okay, well, what's your favorite subject to write about?
China.
Okay, are any of the characters' names named after anybody you know?
Yes.
Like who?
My aunts and uncles and brothers.
Okay, how about the way the characters act? Is that based on anybody you know?
Yes.
Who?
My aunts and uncles.
Okay, when did you become interested in writing stories?
When I was about 3.
Okay, how long did it take you to write this book?
About 2.5 months.
Really? Well, was this an easy story to write?
Kind of.
Oh, really? Well, that's all the time we have for now. Bye.
Hi, this is Meet the Author, and here we have TJ Stein, and he's gonna tell us about his new book. So TJ, what is your book called?
It's called Goosebumps, the Barking Ghost.
What is the main idea of your story?
The main idea is there's a kid named Cooper who's scared of everything, especially dogs, and then he hears barking noises, and when he looks out the window, nothing's there, and he gets real worried.
Okay. What was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
It's been such a long time, I don't remember.
Okay. How did you get the idea? Whoops, I asked you. Tell us about your story.
Well, it's about a kid named Cooper who's scared of everything, especially dogs. He hears noises coming out of the window, and they sound like him. So he keeps looking out the window and peeking, sweat running down his face, and then it's usually always his older brother Mickey. Well, one night he heard more barking noises outside, so he told Mickey to be quiet, but it wasn't him because it kept on going. Then there were 2 barking noises, like 2 dogs. He thought that it was a recording of Mickey's growling and things and him, but it wasn't because nothing was outside. So he got real worried. Then one day he went out into the woods and he heard this noise. A girl walked up to him and said that these woods are haunted and so is your house. So he got really scared. Then the next day she came over and said, "I'm sorry, this was all a trick. It was Mickey's idea." So he got really mad and tried to think of a way to get back Mickey in another trick. So they got an idea, and then
Margaret is the girl, and she slept over to play the trick. At 1 o'clock in the morning, they captured a rat, put it on his back when he was sleeping, and they hid in the closet. Cooper thought Margaret was kicking him, so he said for her to stop, but it wasn't her. Then they heard growling and warm, breath breathing on their backs, and it was the dogs. So they ran out, panicking, and Mickey woke up, and then they looked in the closet again, and the dogs were gone. So one day, during the day, near the house, the dogs came back. They weren't trying to be mad at him, and they were pushing him somewhere. So Margaret and Cooper followed him. The dogs pushed them into the shack, and they fell down to a really deep hole. Then the dogs put a blanket over them, and Margaret and Cooper turned into the dogs, and the dogs turned into Margaret and Cooper, and they had to stay like that for a little while. And then the phony Margaret and Cooper didn't remember about being a dog, so they did the same thing that the dogs did when they pushed them into the shack, because they followed. And there were 2 chipmunks that ran in before they did the changing type thing. And Margaret and Cooper turned into chipmunks, and the regular dogs turned back, and that's it.
Very interesting, TJ. Was it easy to write the story?
Yes.
Okay. This is all the time we have for today. Thank you for tuning in for Meet the Author.
Hi, this is Meet the Author, and today here we have Eddie Berenstain. Tell us, Eddie, how long did it take you to write this book?
About 15 days.
Tell us a little bit about your book.
Well, Mama Bear's cousin is gonna have twins, and Mama Bear's gonna go help her cousin. So, and she doesn't, because her cousin's gonna have twins. So she goes, and Papa Bear says he's gonna clean the house for her, and he's gonna go beat the rugs with the old beater. But the cubs say it's the vacuum she cleans it with. And before Mama left, she put up all the clean clothes on the line, and then he beats the rugs, and all the dusts go on the clean clothes, so all the clothes are dirty. And the cubs say, you weren't supposed to get the clothes dirty. So Papa says it'll rain before she comes back. So then he says, how about we have honey mustard pancakes? And the cubs hate the honey mustard pancakes he makes. So he's flipping them. So he flips it one pancake too high, and it sticks to the ceiling. But he gets it down, and Papa Bear, when he comes to the cubs when they're sitting at the table, Mother Bear's ceiling is clean enough to eat off of. So then they ate it, and then he says, how about a nice fire after a nice lunch? So he turns it on, and the cubs were too late again, because he forgot to open the latch on top so the smoke could go out the chimney. So all the smoke is going through the house, and Mr. Skunk, their neighbor, comes over and asks for help, and asks if they were help, and Papa Bear says, no, we don't need any, and the cubs are like, yes, we do. So and then Mr. Skunk whistles, and all the other neighbors come and help clean the wash and help get all the smoke and dust out. And that's about it.
Okay, how did you get the idea to write this story?
I can't remember.
Okay, what was the setting of your book?
The setting was in the tree house.
How long did it take you to write this book?
About 5 weeks.
Okay, when did you become interested in writing books?
Probably when I was about 21.
Okay, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for Meet the Author. Hello, welcome to Meet the Author. I'm Jenna Santa Rosa, and here we have Nick Adler to tell us about his new book called Cam Jansen and the Mystery of the Monkey House. So Nick, what inspired you to write this book?
My friends.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about your story.
Cam and Eric, after school, went to the zoo and they played Eric paid the fee and so did Cam. And then they saw this kid in front of them named Billy Jones and they said hi, and then they went to see animals and they saw monkeys, and one monkey was missing, and so they went to find him, and that's all.
Well, who are the characters?
Cam Jansen, Eric, and the monkeys.
Mm-hmm. When does this story take place?
At the zoo.
What's the main idea of the story?
One monkey is lost.
Mm-hmm. How long did it take you to write your story?
2 weeks.
Where did the characters come from?
They came from my friends.
Okay. Did you make them up yourself?
No.
How did you come up with the names?
I really don't know.
Okay. Well, how did you think of a storyline?
My dad helped me a little bit.
Okay. Was it easy writing the story?
A little bit.
Have you written any other books?
I read one about sharks when I was little.
What was the first book you wrote?
One about animals.
Okay. Well, when did you become interested in writing stories?
When I was 9.
Okay. What's your favorite subject to write about?
My favorite subject to write about is hockey.
Okay. What was your favorite book when you were in 3rd grade?
There were so many, I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Bye.
Hi, I'm Amisha Ruthi. This is Andrew Reback. He's going to tell about his story that he did. So tell us, Andrew, what is your new book's title?
Brett Favre.
How come you wrote that book?
Because I like the sport of football, and when I was younger, I used to play with my friends.
Where did you get the ideas?
Because my friends, I
I used to always be the Dallas Cowboys, and my friend usually always beats the Green Bay Packers.
Tell me, have you ever wrote any books when you were when you were 20 years old?
Yeah, Brett Favre.
Is there any other books that you wrote?
Not as an adult, but when I was little.
What was the name that you wrote the book when you were little?
Dinosaur Adventure.
Is there any kind of what inspired you to write this book?
Yeah, I already I said that one. Yeah.
What was the summary that was about Brett Favre?
The summary was about how he got his team to the Super Bowl 31 and won it, and it said who they played in the wild card playoff and who they played in the Super Bowl and what the scores were.
One more thing before we leave. Where do you get the main characters? Main actors.
Could you say that one again?
Where do you get the main characters?
From TV.
What were their names?
Brett Favre. And the announcer.
Who?
The announcer.
Who was the coach of Brett Favre?
I don't know. It doesn't say that in there.
This is all the time that we have for Meet the Author Show. Tune in next time. Bye.
Hello, and welcome to Meet the Author. Here we have with us is Gina Adler, and she wrote a book called Cam Jansen and the Mystery of Triceratops Pops. So, Gina, tell us a little bit about your story.
It's about Cam and her friend Eric, and they're trying to find this popular CD, and it's called Triceratops Pops. And they went to the store and they asked the man where it was, and he told them on this one shelf. And they went over there and they looked, and it wasn't there. So he said he put them there, but they weren't there. So they thought that somebody might have stole them. So one person, they have this alarm that goes off if they think that you stole something. And there was this man, and the guy was looking in his bags, and he had a watermelon, and he had some other stuff, and the watermelon was dripping on the bottom of the bag. So Cam thought he might have cut a hole in it or something. And then another person, and she thought it was him, but it wasn't. So she thought it was the guy with the watermelon because he might have cut a hole and stuck the CDs inside, and nobody would have noticed. So they were running after him, and he saw them, so he was running too. Then he tripped over a guy's foot, and he fell, and the watermelon broke in half, and they found the CDs. And Cam got to take one home.
Okay. What gave you the idea to write this story?
Well, it was it happened to me, and I just wanted to write about it.
What was your favorite book in 3rd grade?
I don't really remember.
Well, that's all the time we have for today, folks. See you next time.